All right, so we're going to talk about psychopaths and we're going to talk about mirroring, copying, mimicking. This is the talented Mr. Ripley, and someone has put together a 16-minute video discussing the extent of symbolism of mirroring in this movie that is about a psychopath that targets a victim. I myself have been subjected to this targeting by a psychopath, and I want to focus in on this clip that someone's put together here, analysing the talented Mr. Ripley. It stars Matt Damon, Jude Law, Gwyneth Paltrow, and Philip Seymour Hoffman. So it's a stellar cast. It's a great movie. It's from 1999. Matt Damon plays
La fidanzata a
Thomas Ripley
faccia.
as a psychopath.
Fiance has a face.
So he's spying on Jude Law, who's called Dickie, who's very rich and has an idyllic lifestyle with Marge, his fiancée.
Questo
Already
è la
there's
faccia
a mirror
di Dickie.
in the first scene. There's a mirror. It's all about psychopathy. It's all about mirroring. If you take away one
This
point from
is
this whole
my face.
video that I'm making here, analysing this video of this movie, it's that psychopaths mimic their target.
Look at it then.
Dickie Greenleaf?
Psychopaths copy their target.
It's Tom.
Psychopaths
Ripley.
try to become
Tom
their
Ripley?
target. They try to
We
become
were at
you.
Princeton together.
They try to steal
Okay.
your life. They copy you, they
Princeton's
mimic you,
like a
they mirror
fog.
you.
America's
They
like
see
a
you
fog.
and they reflect you back.
What are you doing in Manji?
Nothing. Nothing
So let's
much.
just stop it for a sec. So he's
Passing
spying through the binoculars at Jude Law. He's stalking him as a predator does. Predators, like a wolf, stalk their prey like a sheep. So he's the wolf and Jude Law is the sheep. It doesn't look like it, does it? But that's what it is. Psychopath, target, wolf, sheep. And so he stalked him because he's a predator stalking prey. And then what he does is he approaches, and what does he do? He deceives, he lies. He says, "Hey, Dickie, it's Thomas Ripley from Princeton. Remember me? We were at Princeton together. Remember me?" They were never at Princeton together. He knows that guy went to Princeton. Ripley didn't go to Princeton. He's a con artist lying to the target. He's a wolf stalking a sheep to eat the sheep. He wants to get the sheep inside of him. He wants to merge with the sheep, as a wolf does when it eats the sheep. He wants to become the sheep by eating the sheep. He wants to merge with the target. So it doesn't look like that Jude Law is a victim or a target, but he is. We're dealing with spiritual evil here. We're dealing with evil, stalking, targeting, and seeking to destroy the target. Let's continue.
Passing through?
Yeah.
It's a lie.
You're so white.
You're so white.
You ever see a guy so white, Marge?
So the maker of this video points out that there's this light and dark theme that runs through this.
We should come and have lunch with us before you go. Yes, Dickie?
Sure, anytime.
Light
Well.
and dark. Good and evil.
Coincidence.
White and black. Good and evil. The light, the dark. Satan,
I
the
don't remember
darkness. God, the light.
That's so funny.
Goodness, the light. I don't remember him. That's so funny.
Who?
Ripley's here. Who? Again, he doesn't remember who he is. Do you know why? Because until today, he's never met him. The guy's just lied, stalked, and then lied to assume his way into his life. See how he dresses as well? He dresses as this rich, preppy kind of a guy, but that's not where he comes from.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you? Thought you disappeared.
And again, look at the color of the shirts, white and black, light and dark, good and evil. Although in this case, it's inverted. The evil one is wearing the good shirt, the light shirt. But anyway, and the maker of this excellent video points that out. The link is in the description.
We were gonna send out a search party.
No, still here.
So light and dark, it's the theme of the movie. Good and evil.
I'm intruding.
Can you mix a martini?
Sure.
I'll do it.
Oh.
I make a fabulous martini.
Remember that later on in this video clip that's going to become important. Can you mix a martini? Can you mix a drink? So already Ripley is copying Dickie. He's wearing the same style of clothing as him.
Everybody should have.
I need to point out to you that if Dickie was like wearing like wigger hip hop clothing and like Nike sneakers and a hoodie, like an Adidas hoodie, then talented Mr. Ripley would also be wearing Nike sneakers and an Adidas hoodie, or a starter jacket or something, you know?
One talent.
Because it's all about mirroring, it's all about mimicry, it's all about copying.
What's yours?
Forging signatures, telling lies, impersonating practically anybody.
Forging signatures, telling lies, impersonating just about practically anybody. So this is important because what's happening here is disclosure. So psychopaths will all, I'm using the word psychopath, but that also covers narcissist and sociopath. I'm also talking about them as well. But for the sake of there's three of them, I have to talk about one. I'll just say psychopath. Excuse me. At some point in your relationship with evil, with a psychopath, they're going to disclose to you who and what they are. They're going to say to you something. Usually they'll couch it as a joke. They'll go, I'm evil. Ha 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 ha. If anyone ever tells you that they're evil, take them at their freaking word. Believe them. They'll tell you something like, your relationship with me can only result in pain and suffering. They'll say it as a joke, but this is what psychopaths do. This is how they disclose to you who they are and what they are, and they'll tell you early on in the relationship. They'll tell you straight up, I'm so bad, ha ha ha. I'm evil, ha ha ha. And here Ripley notifies his target exactly who and what he is. I forge signatures, fraud. I impersonate people, mimicking, copying, mirroring, psychopathic trait. I can be practically anyone. And lying. So he says all of these things straight up front. But because of the way he says it, Jude Law doesn't realize that he's telling the truth. So I need to point out to you, psychopaths, in addition to mirroring, copying, mimicking you, they also at some point disclose to you up front that they're evil. But they'll do it as a joke so that you don't think that they're telling that it's just a joke. If anyone ever tells you that they're evil, remember what they said, because they're probably telling you the truth. There's some legalistic spiritual law that demons have to follow, that they have to notify you of who and what they are.
Nobody should have more than one talent. It'll just be for a little while. He makes me laugh.
It'll just be for a little while. He makes me laugh. Okay, darling. Okay, that's what they said. Take note.
Promise you'd say?
No, I like him.
Marge, you like everybody.
Don't like
No, I like him, Marge. You like everybody. No, I like you. Take note of what they say. So he's upstairs in Dickie's room, going through his jewelry and watch travel case. This guy's like a multi-millionaire. Listen to him.
Marge, you like
He's copying the conversation that he just heard. I'll just rewind it.
Marge, you like. I like him. Marge, you like everybody. Oh, I like
Okay,
him.
do you see what's going on there? You might think mistakenly that this is just some BS Hollywood movie script. No. As somebody who has been targeted by a psychopath and mimicked and copied and mirrored, this is exactly what they do. This is no exaggeration. This is 100% on the money. They look in a mirror and they practice being their target. They mimic, okay? The word mimic, M-I-M-I-C, mimic. They mimic, okay? So I mean, listen, I've had the experience, the horrible experience of being mimicked for years on end by a psychopath and then telling the public after confronting them and going, what the F are you doing? And they just said, oh, you're crazy. Telling the public, and then they pre-smear campaign my name so that when I do tell the public, everybody goes, oh, well, he's just crazy. So what we're seeing here is the true representation of what psychopaths do when they're targeting somebody. They stalk them, they lie to get their way in with manipulation. Then they continue to spy at all times. They're watching and they're spying, just like a wolf watches a sheep. And then they start to subsume themselves into the life of their target. So they'll find someone or something popular, and then they'll, rather than creating it themselves and doing the hard work themselves, they'll simply, it's a bit like who wins the race, the running race. Who wins the running race? The fastest runner wins the running race. What a psychopath does is they don't even run in the race. They wait at the finish line dressed up in clothing like they've been running a race, and then they act at the end of the race like that they've won the race. They go up to the one who got first prize, who actually won the race, and they befriend them, and they get to be their best friend, and they manipulate them, and they try and get the fame of the winner who got first place in the race to somehow rub off onto them. And as much as possible, they try and coerce the winner of the race to swap places in life with them, with the psychopath, until the psychopath, in the esteem and the impression of the public, is indivisible from the winner of the race. This is the sick thing that they do. They copy, they mimic, they steal people's victory. They're evil. Let's continue.
Marge, you like everybody.
And again, that whole scene, as the maker of this video, this excellent video, has pointed out, that whole scene is done with the camera looking at this guy. What's his name? Ripley. What's the actor's name in real life? I've had a blank on him. Matt Damon. The camera is looking at a mirror image of Matt Damon, so it's a mirror image. It's not really the image of him. It's the image of the mirror image of him. It's a synthetic representation of him. It's very important to wrap your head around this concept, because you're dealing with psychopaths who are making a synthetic image of their target as themselves. They're making themselves look like their target. They're mirroring their target. Again, the black and the white. We've got the chessboard here. So it's a bathtub. Do you have any brothers? No.
No. No brothers, no sisters.
So what he's doing there is it's called hoovering. He's asking the target questions and trying to find out all the information about them as he can. He's interrogating them. Do you have any brothers? And then look what happens.
Me neither.
Me neither. What a surprise. You don't have brothers? I don't have brothers. So he's copying the target. Because the target says he doesn't have any brothers, the psychopath also says, I don't have any brothers. If the target said, I have 6 brothers, what do you think the psychopath would say? He would also say, so do I. I have 6 brothers. Do you get it? Do you get it? This is how they operate. This is how psychopaths operate.
Means we've never shared
That
a bath.
means we never shared a bath with our brothers. Dangling his hand suggestively in the bath with naked Jude Law.
I'm cold.
And I'm
Can
cold.
I get in?
Can I get in?
No.
So what's going on there? So psychopaths are all homosexual. Even if they're straight acting, they don't have any gender identity their gender identity is fluid, unsolidified. Consequently, they're all homosexual and they swing both ways. And because they can get twice the narcissistic supply from romantically pursuing both sexes instead of just their opposite sex, that's one of the reasons why they do it. For them, twice the the population available to seek narcissistic supply from means swinging both ways. So that's why they're all homosexual. Often, though, they're homosexual on the down low. They're straight acting. They're not like that show Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, or Carson, or whatever that guy was called. They're on the down low. They're pretending to be straight, but really they're secret in the closet. And what Matt Damon's character's doing here is he's trying to probe for corruption of the target. He's trying to see if the target is homosexual at all by saying, can I get in the bath with you when he's naked? And the reason why he's doing that is because the psychopath doesn't have any positive emotions of his own and can't love. But the psychopath is expert at manipulating the emotions of the target. And one of the best ways to manipulate the emotions of a target is to get them to fall in love with you. And that includes homosexuals, right? So if he can get Jude Law to homosexually fall in love with him, then he can get control of Jude Law, because if someone's in love with you, you can then have control over them. And if you're a psychopath that can pull the strings of someone's emotions, who's highly emotional for you because they're in love with you, you can control them. You can get hold of their bank balance. You can drive their motor car. You can stay in their house. You can eat the food out of their fridge. You can go to the same tennis club as them. You can basically become part of their life. So the power of manipulating people's emotions is what's at play in this bath scene here. Again, the mirror image. Again, listen, they're showing you what it's all about to be a psychopath.
Okay.
The mirror image, the reflection.
Get in.
Because the reflection is not real, right? And it's also, what was Narcissus doing? The source of the myth about narcissism was Narcissus. He was staring at his own reflection in a pool of water.
A prune anyway.
Again, they see the naked body through a mirror. And again, he's just creepily looking because he's always spying. He's always getting information.
I'd sing to her.
May I
Be the only one to say I really fell in love the day I
first set eyes on you?
So what's going on here? There's lots of mirrors, and Matt Damon, Thomas Ripley, is wearing some clothing. Whose clothing is he wearing? He's wearing Jude Law's clothing. He's wearing Dickie's clothing. All right? He's wearing Dickie's clothing. He's dancing around to music in Dickie's apartment.
May I?
What are you doing?
Oh, I was just amusing myself. Sorry.
So, this is how freaking weird psychopaths are. I'm telling you, would you expect a psychopath to look like handsome and strong and respectable looking Matt Damon? You wouldn't expect it, would you? You would expect them to look like ugly, like a monster. The truth is, psychopaths sometimes come to you looking just like everything that you've ever dreamed of, or looking like your best friend, or looking like your brother. Come to you like your most perfect personal assistant and your best helper. I'm telling you, the devil doesn't look ugly. When he comes to you dressed up as everything you've ever dreamed of. And not only that, he seems so familiar. He seems just like you. He seems like your soulmate, or like somebody that you've known forever. Somebody that you have a deep spiritual soul tie to. Do you know why? Because he's reflecting you back at you. So you see you when you look at him. It's all about the mirrors. They copy you, they mimic you. So he's just walked in on Matt Damon wearing his clothing in his apartment, dancing around.
I wish you'd get out of my clothes.
And it's freaking him out. And again, the mirror superimposing the two personas.
Do you have my shoes on too?
You said I could pick out a jacket, so...
You have my shoes on too. You ever heard that saying, walk a mile in someone's shoes to know what it's like to be them? some weird perverse form of that. He's trying to become his target. Ripley is trying to become Jude Law. He's going to make an attempt, a very manipulative and evil attempt. It's evil to steal from Jude Law. What is he going to steal from him? His money, his girlfriend, everything. His very life, his very essence, his very soul. Everything is going to be stolen from Jude Law by Matt Damon, this psychopath. That's what's on the table there, is to steal everything.
Did you get undressed in your own room? Come on.
And he says, would you get undressed in your own room? That means what? That means he has to tell him that. And if he didn't tell him that, Matt Damon's character would just probably get undressed right in front of him. So what's going on here is Jude Law's character is setting a boundary, because Jude Law's character is realizing that the Matt Damon character is starting to try and enmesh itself, because it's a psychopath, it's an it, trying to enmesh itself into Jude Law's life, even by getting naked in the same room as him. Enmeshment.
Freddie.
No boundaries.
At least stick around for the Festival of the Madonna. The whole town comes out.
I don't think so. I have my own Madonna back in Rome. Oh, God.
Do you want to take over?
Yeah.
Sure. Just point her at Capri. Avoid the rocks.
Where are you going?
And as one person in the comments section accurately pointed out, Philip Seymour Hoffman here in this movie perfectly plays his role. The role he plays is of like a grotesque, sleazy kind of a wealthy millionaire, kind of a playboy guy that's totally, sleazy, but he's not dumb, and he sees Mr. Ripley for what he is, whereas Jude Law doesn't see Mr. Ripley for what he is. Jude Law's living beneath the veil of consciousness. He's not aware that Ripley is a psychopath that's trying to eat him alive. But the Philip Seymour Hoffman character, he notices, and he's the third party. He's not being seduced. He's not being targeted. So he's outside of the shared fantasy of this psychopath. He notices what Matt Damon's character is doing, and he have a look.
Marge maintenance.
Aye.
And as the maker of this video points out, look at the sale. It's got 666 written on it. All right. And you might think, oh, well, they're just trying to make it seem more spooky than it is. No, listen, psychopaths are evil. Evil exists. They're demons in human form. They're demons. They're people that at about the age of 2 or before, because of childhood trauma, a demon came knocking on their door, so to speak, and said, hey, let me in and I'll make everything good. I'll take care of everything for the rest of your life. Life is overwhelming for you. You're living in family trauma. Just let me in and I'll make everything better. From henceforth, the person lives with a demon in their heart, and it stays with them for the rest of their life. Demons are the representatives of the devil from hell on earth, and so it's completely consistent and appropriate to include 666 on the sale there to symbolize evil that is associated with demons and with psychopaths. And don't forget that these people are so wealthy, so privileged, so educated, so powerfully connected, so good looking, and so youthful and young. They've got everything anyone could want in the world. They're living the world's best life ever. And yet their lives fall apart because evil gets into their life in the form of the talented Mr. Ripley there. So even in paradise, if you let evil in the door, your whole world can come crumbling down. Let's continue. Again, the spying. Again, and it's a mirror. Again, he's stalking Dickie and finding out every single little aspect of his life.
How's the peeping?
How's the peeping, Tommy?
Tommy.
Peeping Tom. Peeping Tom.
How's it peeping?
Tommy, how's the peeping? So Philip Seymour Hoffman realizes what's going on. He suspects him. So here's another creepy scene. Psychopaths are creepy, they're odd, they're strange, they're spooky, and you'll see that Jude Law's starting to realize that Matt Damon is spooky. Asleep on a train.
Prossima stazione Sanremo.
And again, the mirror images. Obsessed with him, staring at him.
Why do you do that thing with your neck?
What thing? On trains, you always do that thing.
Mirror image.
Spooky.
Spooky.
Marge and I are getting
Spooky.
married.
So listen, it's worth pointing out that at this point, Jude Law is starting to realize that Matt Damon's character is spooky, which is in keeping with the evil of these demonic psychopaths.
How?
How?
Yesterday you're ogling girls on the terrace. Today you're getting married? That's absurd.
I love Marge.
You love me. You're not marrying me.
Tom, I don't love you.
No, I don't mean that as a threat.
To be honest, I'm a little relieved you're going. I think we've seen enough of each other for a while. You can...
So when you realize that someone is a psychopath, the best idea is not to confront them on a little rowboat out in the middle of the ocean, because that can be really dangerous. Listen, when you figure out that someone's a psychopath, often it's such a shock to you that you get in a huge argument with them. So if at all possible, avoid that. When you realize that someone's a psychopath, run, turn around and run, but very, very quietly. Don't let them know that they're evil. If they don't know that you know, they won't freak out. If they freak out, it could be fatal, and you can see that here.
be quite boring.
I know there's something. That evening, when we played chess, for instance, it was obvious.
What evening?
Oh, sure, no, it's too dangerous for you to take on.
Who are you? Huh? Some third-class smooch? Who are you? Actually, I really do not want to be on this boat with you. I can't move without you moving. I can't move
Shut up.
without Dicky, like a little girl all the time. Stop!
You can see how desperate Matt Damon's character is to stop Jude Law's character from speaking the truth. He's speaking the truth. He's revealing the thing that can't be said, which is that this guy's a third-class grifter mooching off of him and just constantly telling him what to do and getting in his life and saying his name over and over again, and just the weirdness and the boringness and the insufferableness of this smothering, engulfing character, this wet blanket, this narcissist, this psychopath. He says it out loud. He says the quiet part. He says the quiet bit out loud. And the narcissist, the psychopath here, Matt Damon, suffers a thing called a narcissistic injury. And when that happens, they go totally psycho, violent, ballistic. Usually it's not physically violent. Usually it's reputational destruction, but also it can be physical destruction. It's either assassination physically or it's assassination in terms of personality and character. Character assassination can be just as bad. Okay, so now the target's dead. Now he's wearing the target's clothes.
Checking in.
And he's checking in at the hotel.
Senor Green.
He's got the forged signature.
Of course. Welcome back.
Dickie Greenleaf. So now he's Dickie Greenleaf. So he's mimicked his target to the point of destroying his target and taking his target over. I've seen this in the flight sim world, where there was a very popular flight sim server called the DCS Cold War server. It was very popular. And then a psychopathic usurper came along and saw how successful that server was, copied it, put his name on the front of the copy of the server, and then heavily promoted the copy server by doing interviews with studio bosses of video games, and then stole all of the players from the original Cold War server. That's what you're seeing here in Talented Mr. Ripley. Let's continue.
Le sta proprio bene, eh? È un colore bellissimo. Sì. Avevamo ragione, visto?
Really like this, too.
Well, I think I'm having that, too.
And again, it's in the mirror. These people...
I was sure we'd met
fake.
before. I was sure we'd met before, weren't you, Ted? Dick is Herbert Greenleaf's boy.
I know. Yes, I think we have.
Ci vediamo al club?
Sì.
Prego.
Oh, so he's passing himself off as Jude Law.
Tom!
Marge, how are you? What are you doing?
He's wearing
alone?
Jude
Is
Law's
he here? Are you
rings.
with Dickie?
No. No.
So, where are you hiding him? It's impossible, isn't it?
Is he really not here?
Well, Marge, you know Dickie has I Hate Opera tattooed on his chest. Let's go.
See how smooth he's being? He's just murdered Dickie Greenleaf, and now he's at the opera completely calm and smiley. Oh, you know how much Dickie hates the opera. Ah ha ha, telling jokes and everything. Not sweating, not shaking, nothing. Totally suave, all right? So this is the psychopath. They can stay cool as ice, even under pressure. So that's why they make such good liars. That's why polygraph tests that tell if someone's lying or not, psychopaths can just do them because they don't sweat. They can lie in a lie detector test and the lie detector won't detect a lie.
Oh, I thought you were enjoying yourself.
Kate Blanchett. Okay, so yeah, there's another mirror. So now he's got a woman and he's...
Oh, I thought you were
he's at the
enjoying
opera, he's got
yourself.
lots
Take
of
a glass
money.
and look at the moon.
Are you crazy? It's freezing out there.
Come on. I need to talk to you. Just the two of us.
Okay.
Lots of mirrors. He's driving along and there's all those mirrors. So you might think that all of this mirrors in here is a coincidence. No, it's been put in there specifically. It's the compositional decision of the maker of this movie to do that. They're trying to tell you something. Listen to me. They're trying to tell you something about the nature of evil. It involves mirroring. Get that through your heads and never forget it.
Si è fatto male. Hai bisogno d'aiuto.
He's paranoid and he crashed. Where the police are.
Okay. Okay.
He's seeing Dickie Greenleaf everywhere, but it's someone else. So just on that, the paranoia, psychopaths don't feel very many emotions, but one emotion they do feel often is paranoia.
You've always
Okay,
understood
let's
what's at the
continue.
heart of me, Tom. Marge never could. I suppose that's why I'm writing this to you. The brother I never had.
The brother, again, the brother thing, you know, when he was in the bath, oh, have you got any brothers? So he's writing out a fake letter as Dickie Greenleaf to Mr. Ripley, to Tom Ripley, saying, oh, I care about you so much. Marge doesn't understand the bond that you and me have. You and me are kind of like soulmates, right? Like it's just, he's forging a typed letter as an alibi sort of thing from Dickie Greenleaf, who he murdered, pretending to be Dickie Greenleaf, saying, oh, Tom Ripley, you're so great. Oh, I think you're so fantastic. And it's kind of implied that he's saying like, oh, you know, you can live in my apartment. You can take over my life. I leave everything. I bequeath everything to you, you know?
The only true friend I ever had.
He's got all the jewelry, got the watches.
In all kinds of ways,
taken everything.
you're much more like the son my father wanted. I realize you can change the people, change the scenery, but you can't change your own rotten self. Now,
Self. I just got to say to you something here. Psychopaths do not have a self. They have a false self, which is the mask of perfection that they present to you, which is a kaleidoscope pastiche produced of a conglomeration of impressions that they've garnered by watching people like you and me in their day-to-day lives, and then presenting that as by copying us and presenting it to anyone else that they meet as though it was them.
I can't
They're
think
just
what to
complete
do or
frauds.
where to go. I'm haunted by everything I've done
Mirror.
and can't undo. I'm sorry.
Passport.
I've made a mess of
Mirror.
being Dickie Greenleaf, haven't I?
It's a reflection again. I'm sorry, I've made a mess of being Dickie Greenleaf. He's inverting everything. He's just evil.
Tom.
Marge, I'm in the bath. I won't be long.
Tom, I have to speak to you. It's urgent. I found Dickie's
He's
rings.
living like a Roman senator or something. I found Dickie's rings. So she doesn't know what
You
he
have
is.
Dickie's rings.
She's in the shared fantasy too. She doesn't know. Listen to what he says.
I can explain.
Dickie promised me he would never take off this
Let me
ring.
put some clothes on and I'll
I
come out and we'll
tell us
talk
to
about this. I'm wet, Marge. I've lost my towel. And I'd really like to put some clothes on. Go and pour us both a drink.
Go and pour us both a drink. And the look of victory on his face, he's figured out what to say. Remember in the very beginning of this video, when he first walked in and she was explaining to Dickie Greenleaf, Thomas Ripley's here. And Dickie Greenleaf says, who? And she says, you know, your friend from Princeton that we met at the beach today, he's here. And he walks in, and when he walks in, Jude Law says to Ripley, can you mix a martini? And then Marge says, because he looks unconfident, he says, yeah, I guess. Marge says, I can mix a drink, right? At the beginning, he basically says, Marge, can you make us a drink? And now he's copying Jude Law after he's killed Jude Law, talking to Marge, because he remembers that Jude Law said to Marge, basically, mix us a drink. And because he's mimicking Jude Law, because he's pretending to be Jude Law, he remembers that line and he says it back to her, mix us a drink. You see? Mix us a drink. He's copying even the words that he heard Jude Law say. Let's continue.
He promised me he would never take off this
Let me
ring.
put some clothes on and I'll come out and we'll talk about it.
And by the way, Marge has now figured it out. She's now figured out that he is something really dark. She doesn't know about psychopathy, but she's just figured out that something doesn't add up here, and
I'm wet,
her
Marge.
fiancé is missing.
I've lost my towel. And I'd really like to put some clothes on. Go and pour us both a drink. Pour us a drink.
Pour us a drink. That's what Jude Law said to her in the beginning. Mimicry. Pretending to be Jude Law. Mirror. Distorted mirror. And a cutthroat knife. So this British guy, it's assumed that he's also a wealthy elite, is hanging around with Marge in the like a chaperone in the absence of Dickie Greenleaf, who's gone missing. And this British guy, from what I remember from the movie, it's implied that he is also a homosexual. That's why he's sort of able to hang around with Marge in the absence of her beloved fiancé. So this British guy is assumed to be a homosexual. And now Ripley is focusing on the British guy in a homosexual way because remember, he's on the down low and he can use
See
that
what I
to
want to change
manipulate
about this
people's
moment.
emotions. Let's continue.
I don't know. What do you want to change about this moment?
Nothing.
He's love bombing the British guy. He's love bombing him. He's giving him a special moment, a special connection, a soul tie. We'll cherish this moment together forever.
Coming
Look what
down.
he does next.
Later. I want to catch the sunset.
You're mad.
I am.
See the playful language. See the playful how he gets his hood and goes like that. He's being playful. He's being playful, but it's fake. And what does he do when he's being playful? The British guy says, huh, "You're mad," and he says, "I am." Again, disclosure. So remember what he did in the beginning when Jude Law's character said, "What's your talent?" Everybody's got a talent. What's your talent? And he tells him, forge signatures, lie, impersonate people. This guy starts a relationship with him, this British guy. And what does Ripley say to the British guy? He says, "Yeah, I'm mad. Hey, I'm mad." He's disclosing to him that he's mad. What kind of madness is it? It's moral insanity. Psychopathy is known as moral insanity. I'm mad. He tells him exactly what he is. If anyone tells you that they're mad, that they're crazy, that they're evil, believe them.
Peter. Tell me some good things about Tom Ripley. No, don't get up. Don't get up. Don't get up. Just tell me some nice things about Tom Ripley.
See the intimacy of their language and everything? They're in a relationship, a homosexual relationship. See the moon in the mirror? The moon is what? The moon is the opposite of the sun, right? The sun is light and the moon is what? Dark. So, and he's wearing dark clothing and he's having this intimate relationship now with Marge's
Tom is not a
male
nobody.
friend.
Tom has secrets he doesn't want.
So the British guy, by the sounds of it, it seems like he's writing something in his diary or something. It's probably explained better in the book, I guess, if there is a book, saying Tom has secrets. So yeah,
Tom is crushing me. Tom is crushing me. Tom, you're crushing me.
Oh, God.
Mirrors everywhere. A hall of mirrors. Dark triad personality traits. He does a lot of crime and he gets away with it, and he succeeds materially in life through these dark triad manipulative characteristics that he has. So yeah, I think that's the end. Yeah, that's the end. Yeah, right. So that's basically the end of that. So that was a really good video. The link to the original video is in the description. So if you take away one thing and one thing only from this analysis that I've done of this video, it's that evil comes to you looking very well presented. It doesn't look ugly or anything, and it mimics and mirrors and copies you. It enmeshes itself into your life. It takes anything and everything that is successful and tries to make it its own, tries to steal it through replacement. It replaces you with it. And yeah, so I hope you got some value out of that. I'm sure you did, because I've just spat mad truth to you for 16 minutes. Evil is a mimic. Don't you forget it. Evil is a mimic. You probably think you've never met evil before in your life. 1.5 people out of 10 people is just like this talented Mr. Ripley here. They're usually actually the people at the top of corporations and at the top of governments. So if you ever find in your life that somebody is consistently mimicking you or copying you, you know that you've come across a narcissist, a sociopath, or a psychopath. Frog out.